Welcome to the Tomorrow Zone Catalyst podcast. I'm your host, Deborah Rubin. This conversation is part of our ongoing Future Shaping Leaders series, inspired by my book, Enter the Tomorrow Zone: How to Inspire Breakthrough Innovation and Shape Your Future. In this series, we're exploring how senior leaders are thinking and leading while responsible for shaping the future inside of complex organizations and markets. So let's get into it. Today's conversation features Brian Moore. Brian is a three-time founder, TEDx speaker, and leadership facilitator who has spent his career helping individuals and organizations grow through trust, accountability, and meaningful conversations. From scaling jobbing.com into a national platform to leading talent strategy at PF Chang's, Brian brings a rare blend of startup grit and enterprise perspective. He's also the co-founder of Y Scouts and Anthem, and today co-leads Rise and serves as a lab director in Phoenix, where he creates spaces for leaders to challenge each other, speak honestly, and grow in every area of life. At the core of his work is a deep belief in the power of genuine human connection to drive lasting change. Very important stuff. Brian, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, Deb. It's great to see you.
I'm so excited to have this chat with you. A while ago, back in, I think it was early 2021, I met you through Alyssa Bartlett, who participated in an Anthem experience that you were doing for the conscious capitalism community. So that's how we met. Shout out to Alyssa. She was actually instrumental in helping us to start this podcast. So we're grateful to her. And I think, since then, every interaction with you, Brian, it just really drives home for me the power of genuine human connection. And I just wanted to share with you that, reconnecting with you recently, it was a highlight of the past month for me. So I'm really glad that we're doing this.
I appreciate it. I feel the same way. And I think as we shared, and I have no doubt every single listener, there are those people in life that you meet at certain times for certain reasons, and then life can get in the way and months or years can go by, and then all of a sudden you reconnect and you pick up right from where you left off, and there's zero awkwardness, and that's the connection we have, which is super cool.
It was so cool.
It's awesome. And I think taking time to cherish those connections is just super, super important, because it's not every day that those things happen. So It goes both ways.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into the awesome work that you're doing to shape the future, I just wanted to give you a chance to share kind of a 30,000-foot view of the work that you're leading and the strategic focus behind it.
Yeah. So I guess at the highest level, over the course of my career, have just always had a passion for bringing people together, whether that's teams I've had the opportunity to lead, or in the work that I'm doing now, bringing CEOs, entrepreneurs, founders, senior executives together from different companies to have conversations that truly matter. In addition, some of the off-site work that I'll do, leading retreats and workshops and whatnot with leadership teams from the same company, is also something that I just love to do. And, just through a course of trial and error, figuring out that I have a skill and I seem to be good at it, at the risk of sounding arrogant. That's not how I hope I don't come across that way, but I just love helping people break down whatever barriers get in the way of truly getting to know the people that they are spending an incredible amount of their life with at this thing we call work. And that just drives me. And I think it's becoming even more interesting with the rapid acceleration of AI and technology. And so I'm buckled up and hanging on for dear life. And my sincere hope is that human connection is going to be something that the machines can't replicate, at least hopefully not soon. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, buckle up and hold on for dear life. I think we're all kind of feeling that these days. There isn't a day that goes by that I'm not seeing some new wild advance or crazy headline related to AI. And The wild one I saw recently, actually, you're talking about the importance of human connection. Um, did you see the story about the guy who bought a bunch of Pizza Hut locations and is kind of restoring them back to their 1990s glory? The whole idea behind it is like actually creating a space for humans to come together.
I haven't seen it, and I'm not surprised. It seems I won't remember the name of the organization, but it seems a number of different, I guess, call them like social or membership style groups that are popping up in certain metropolitan areas. And the whole goal behind them is like sort of a modernization of a social club. And because so many people aren't getting out of their house as often as they once were due to how work has changed, it seems a lot of other places like churches and things like that to some degree are, and I don't want to, it's not about religion, but like not nearly as many people are finding community in some places that they used to historically. And we're still craving it. We're still human. We still are built for community. We're built for connection. And it's going to show up somewhere. So I love that. I mean, of all places, Pizza Hut. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's fun to watch. And it feels like a pendulum's, swing is happening even as we're speaking. And I think it's kind of related to the challenge that you're going after right now. So I wanted to just kind of dive into your story and the work that you're doing. What sparked your commitment to the challenge that you're working on right now, and why it doesn't matter so much to you at a
Well,
strategic level?
the work that I'm doing right now that I'm so excited about is creating safe spaces specifically for men to have the conversations that truly matter. And I have two daughters, 21 and a 19-year-old, and a wife of 27 years. So I am not anti-women at all. I am surrounded by three amazing women in my life, and it's made me a better man. That being said, getting that qualifier out there, I think men historically have had a much more difficult time opening up, being vulnerable, and having a group of people who won't judge them, who aren't biased, and who have no agenda. They don't want anything from them. And then bringing these individuals together, these men together, to talk about the things not only that they are needing outside perspective on as it relates to their career, leading their company, growing their business, but also in their personal lives. And I think there are just, unfortunately, a lot of men out there that don't have a safe space. And again, my passion for removing barriers and bringing people together to build deeper levels of trust, sort of the intersection of those things, it just felt like the right time and place to do it. And as we are leaning more and more into technology, um, it's a gut feeling that there's going to be a premium on having a safe space to talk about this stuff because we're all figuring this out as we go. And so that's what's driving me right now. And I think there's a lot of men out there that need it. I truly do.
Yeah, I agree. And when you were sharing with me earlier about the work you're doing, I got so excited about it because, I mean, I can just see it in my own life and the men that I know, just how much they need something like this. So it's a really important work that you're doing. And I want to dig into that a little more. When you first started this work, where did you focus your energy, and why did you decide to focus there?
So the whole idea actually came from me being involved in a peer-to-peer learning forum. And there are a variety of groups out there, both national and international, that have done a phenomenal job. And your audience undoubtedly knows or may belong to some of these groups. So this is not a new idea. Um, I've been a part of one, so I've been essentially walking the talk for the better part of 10 years. And because of the impact it's had in my life, it had dawned on me that given the passion I have for doing this outside of the peer-to-peer learning forum that I'm in, it's like, well, I could probably create one. And it dawned on me that all of these peer-to-peer learning forums that exist out there predominantly focus exclusively on the entrepreneur, the founder, the president, or the CEO, like the top of the proverbial food chain of the business world. But there aren't that many groups that will focus on perhaps a rising leader or a director or even a VP of whatever function in the business. And so I felt like the W-2'd employee out there was being largely ignored. And I think regardless of what your job title is, you've got challenges in life. You've got challenges in work. And if you don't have a safe space and diverse perspectives from other people to help you navigate, like, that's a disadvantage. And as much as all of us have our childhood or college or, career friends, there's something really magical about being surrounded by a group of folks who aren't necessarily your friends, at least not from the get-go, are likely people you would never have met otherwise, and who are all leaning in and simply acknowledging that this is hard. I need help. I love learning from other people, and I'm willing to set aside all of what my biases might be and see what else I can learn from other people. And so it's this really like tuning into, or that's the wrong way to say it, opening up the aperture a little bit to not focus exclusively on the entrepreneur founder. And I love those folks. Don't get me wrong. I've been in that seat. And that's really, really hard. But you know what? So is being one of 25,000 employees at a big company and navigating all of what happens inside of a company. That's hard too. It's a different hard, but it's still hard. And then we all have our personal lives, that the blend between work and life, it's all just one thing. So why not focus on giving this opportunity to everybody and not being exclusive to just a particular job title? So maybe a bit long-winded, but that's what got me so excited about it. And so the groups that I have the just honor of helping direct are blends, and it is proving to be a magical formula. It works really well.
That's really cool. I have had the blessing of interacting in groups like this, but as an entrepreneur, it makes sense for me to be in those groups. I love that you saw a gap for rising leaders that are employed, because sometimes you don't have a safe space to work through challenges, at least not, sometimes it's not politically safe to work through that with your peers in your own company. And, so it's great to have a place where people can go.
Yeah, the politics of what exists inside of, any company, if you are getting a paycheck. It's hard to know, like, who's going to use their political capital to advance their career by stabbing you in the back. And, it sucks, but it's a reality. I'm not going to bury my head in the sand and think that it doesn't happen. It happens all the time. So, that's hard to navigate amongst a variety of other things. I think the other really interesting thing is, as AI continues to do what it's going to do, my crystal ball is super fuzzy, so I can't predict the future, but maybe, just maybe, a whole bunch of people are about to become entrepreneurs because they'll have no other choice. And so if they're in a group and they have a safe space to navigate what perhaps a forced transition for them is going to be, wow, that's fantastic. So yeah, I just think it's needed on a number of different levels.
I want to double click on that. I love that you brought that up because, if we think about what happened back in 2020, there was a lot of forced transition going on. And I mean, for me, I was forced to rethink and reimagine my whole business. Thank God I had a group that I was a part of, and I did not have to go through that journey alone. I had other business owners that were also going through the same journey, and we were able to support each other through it. So I think that the foresight that you're bringing to this is powerful. because we do need to be thinking ahead. What are the possible futures? And, it doesn't have to be a nightmare if you are not alone on, whatever is coming up in that journey. I love the way that you're thinking about that.
Well, I appreciate it. It feeds my soul. It makes me, it's just, I leave one of our meetings. We meet once a month. And I just leave these meetings, and the quality and depth and realness of the conversations that these men are having with one another about all the things that are the most important things in their life, family, career, health, you name it. It's humbling. There's just no better word for it. And somehow I get to be a part of just creating the space for it and do my best to stay out of their way and let them work through it as a group.
It's powerful. Brian, can you describe a moment when maybe the complexity of this work might have forced you to rethink your approach and what changed as a result?
I mean, I think that piece really was the expanding who could be a part of it beyond just the entrepreneur founder to that, W-2'd employee. To me, that was sort of the aha moment, and recognizing that it doesn't matter what your title is. And now that's not to take away that there are clearly like, oh my God, you're the entrepreneur and you don't have enough money in the bank to make payroll next Friday. That's very real. And to be in a room of people who have gone through that is incredibly valuable, and how to navigate that. No question. No question. And to mix these groups and to have them learning from one another through all of the life experiences, not just exclusively the ones that only an entrepreneur or founder faces, is just, to me, that's the complexity. It's like at my age, in my mid 50s, I've got my daughters, they're adults now. I mean, 19 and 21, legally adults. I still think of them as my kids, so I'm taking care of them. But my parents, thank God they're still around, but they're getting old. And so, like, that dynamic of the sandwich generation, how do you deal with all of that? There may come a time at some point in the not too distant future where maybe assisted living is something that I'm going to have to wrestle with. Well, I don't know who to talk to about that, but if I'm in a group where someone in that group has traversed that experience, wow, that's super helpful. So the complexity, I think, lives inside of these everyday real life challenges and opportunities that everybody will go through at some point. And that to me was sort of the real aha. And as silly as it might sound, to keep them gender focused. I think at some point we will have female only groups, but those will be led by females. I think the men only groups, I think the dynamic would change if we made them co-ed groups. For better or for worse, I think the dynamic changes.
I think that's reality.
Yeah, for sure. And either or might be apprehensive to talk about something if there's the opposite sex in the room. And that's just a reality that I happen to believe is true. So I think that's been working out the way I felt that it would.
Awesome. So, was there an assumption or belief or any kind of a leadership habit that you personally had to change to be able to make meaningful progress in this work?
Yeah.
You're laughing.
Yeah.
Now I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Keep my mouth shut.
Well, I'm going to have to say more.
Yeah.
You are on a podcast.
Yeah, for sure. But to be the best listener in the room, And that's not to say that I don't think I've developed some level of a skill to listen, but when I hear someone share an opportunity or a challenge that they're wrestling with, and if I've had some sort of a lived experience myself that has relevancy to it, well, I would love to jump in and share that experience. However, that's not my role. Maybe I can do it outside of the meeting and ask permission, like, hey, Jim or David, when you were talking about X, I happen to have gone through something really, really similar, and I wanted to share with you what happened. But in the meeting, that's not my role. So to, again, just create the space and let the group work through those opportunities and challenges without me getting involved has been really hard because I love to help. But that's not my place in this role.
It's such a needed place, though, if you think about it. Whenever we are navigating uncertainty, the role of a strong facilitator to help to connect the dots between people and ideas, it's more important than ever.
I think so. I would agree with you. Yeah, it is a skill. It's hard to keep quiet. It really is. It's hard to not want to jump in and solve and fix. And I did this really interesting exercise with a company about 6 weeks ago. There's about 70 folks. They had an offsite, and I grouped everybody in groups of 3. And I gave them one prompt. The prompt was, what path led you to company name? And the instructions were, you're going to go for a walk outside. The weather was gorgeous. And you have 45 minutes. Each person gets 15 minutes to talk. You have to walk side by side. You cannot look one another in the eye. And while the one person is using his or her 15 minutes, the other 2 can't say anything. Not even like an acknowledgement of, oh, uh-huh, oh, nothing. I mean, nothing. So imagine how hard and awkward that is for most people to not make eye contact, somehow fill 15 minutes of time answering the question, what path in life led you to this company, and not get verbal or visual acknowledgement of you saying whatever it is you're saying. And so when everybody came back, you can imagine one of the biggest sort of like light bulb moments for everybody is, especially for the leaders of teams, how often every single day one of your team members comes to you with a problem. They're not even 50% of the way through sharing what the problem is, and you're already jumping in to fix it because you think you know where they're going. And we cut people off all the time. Not because there's no malicious intent, but we don't let people finish what they have to say. And so, like, that's one of many light bulb moments that particular exercise brings up for people. Let people finish. Let them say what they have to say. Give room and space. And especially leaders oftentimes become leaders because they're really good at triaging and fixing problems. But just because we've got the title and just because we think we know where a teammate is going with whatever it is they might be saying, let them color it in with all the details. And you might just be surprised that whatever your original solution was might not be the best path forward. And so those are one of the aha moments among a variety of other things. And that experience, it's cool. It's cool. It's crazy. It's awkward. It's all the things, but it's
oh
really
my
powerful.
Gosh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I had to go on mute because I didn't want to even respond, but that is powerful, very
It's cool.
powerful.
It's a cool
I was
experience.
imagining just experiencing that, not having eye contact and but you're really having to lean into listening in a totally different way, such an active. Wow. So how did I'm just really curious, how did people feel about that? I mean, did it lead to any changes?
So that's a hard one to answer because I don't live in the
Oh, you were just
company
with them
day
the
in,
day.
day out.
Okay.
I was facilitating their retreat. However, the debrief after everybody came back from the walk, you had all kinds of different pieces of feedback. For example, whomever went first often felt the most pressure, right? Because they're setting the tone. And then the other two who are only listening, not making eye contact, aren't even listening to the person talking because they're so nervous about what they're going to say for their 15 minutes. So there were like these moments that people would have like, oh my God, my mind wandered because I was so nervous about how was I going to fill my 15 minutes that I wasn't even listening to my teammate who was sharing something that could have been really monumental. On the flip side, you had some folks that completely blocked their mind, were able to listen for the full 15 and came back and shared like, I've been working with this person for 5 years. I didn't know any of what they shared. So like it was just this wide swath of, pieces of feedback and insights that it's just one of those, I think it's just so applicable in so many areas. And it was an incredibly lively debrief, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's what a wonderful, wonderful exercise. So I want to get into a little bit of momentum because you've been at this now for a little bit of time, and you're seeing results. But as you move forward in this work, what changed along the way in terms of how you made decisions, allocated resources, or involved stakeholders in the work?
I think the biggest realization about how the future of this unfolds is it has to be local. This is not a virtual thing. It takes someone who A, has a passion to create safe spaces, B, has been in the business world in some capacity for probably a couple of decades. They're probably not in their 20s or 30s, and not to be age discriminatory, but has been around the block enough times that they've built a pretty decent sized network and could reach out to people within their network and encourage them or bring them in to start a group of their own. And so like this thing scales only through people who share a similar passion to what I do about bringing people together, creating safe spaces, wanting to bring this experience to men in their community, wherever that happens to be. I don't think it works any other way. And so what I think the big challenge for us is going to be is how do we find those people? Are they currently an executive at a big company and perhaps in the next 3 to 6 to 9 months, their company has to pivot rapidly and all of a sudden they're out of a job, but they're not ready to hang up, their quote unquote cleats and they still want to be on the playing field. And this is a great way for them to take all their experience and do something really meaningful. Is this people that are currently on boards that have more time that they'd like to give back and they've got a knowledge base through years of experience in the business world that they think they can offer. And there's likely a whole host of other scenarios of people that, I'm not even thinking about. But that to me is like, this has to grow. It doesn't have to grow fast. It just has to grow right. And I think it's highly dependent upon the right facilitators around the country, maybe around the world at some point, who believe what we believe and want to spend part of their time doing this.
It sounds like the makings of a movement more than just like a business model. I love what you said. Like, we want it to grow, but it has to grow right.
Yeah. There's no that. I mean, there's urgency, but speed is not at all the goal. It's just not.
Which is kind of the opposite of what we're hearing with all the hype around us these days.
Sure, for sure. I mean, the speed. everything that's happening with this AI, robotics, space exploration, where data centers. I mean, it's crazy. It's just you have to be unemployed to keep up, because it would be your only job just to kind of stay in the know of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. I mean, what you're doing and the speed at which companies feel like they have to make these rapid changes completely ignores the fact that if they don't actually help their people understand why and get them to co-create the outcome using the tool or tools that they want everyone to immediately adopt and radically change their habitual behaviors that have been going on for decades, like, you can't skip the foundation part. And unfortunately, fast is not an ingredient that works for that part. And I think this has the same, but it has one of the same ingredients. Speed is not, speed doesn't help. It just doesn't. I think slower is faster in this scenario. Same way any change
Absolutely.
management is, right? You can't
Yeah,
go fast right away. You have to go slow first in order to go fast. Otherwise, it will fail.
absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. As you look ahead, what feels, and you've kind of talked about this a little bit in terms of like who you would target to bring in to lead groups like this, but what else? What feels most critical to get right in order to maintain long-term relevance in this work?
I think the directors of these groups, and we call them labs,
And why
to
is
me.
that?
So it's an acronym for Life Advisory Board. So that's what these men become for one another, that advisors to one another for their life. So Life Advisory Board. And I just think it has a cool sort of dual meaning. Whereas if you and I were to walk into a lab, the expectation in a lab is to experiment. And this is an experiment. These guys are coming together and they're sharing challenges and opportunities in all areas of their life and experimenting with how to solve or take advantage of them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But that's the beauty of being in a lab. Um, I've not met anyone who has figured life out perfectly. It's that saying,
I
life
haven't
isn't,
either.
yeah, life isn't hard because you're doing it wrong. It's hard because you're doing it right. So if somebody's got the recipe for how to, make this a lot more smooth than it is, I'd love to meet that person. But in the absence of that, to have this to do it is great. So I think it's the directors of these labs. And then it's really finding who are the folks out there that are looking for this. And I don't know what that bat signal actually looks like. I've been able to figure it out through hand-to-hand combat, if you will, just meeting with people. And it's sort of like I get a feeling in my body, the brain in my gut. It's like, I think this guy's the right guy. And sometimes you meet with someone and your gut's like, I don't think this is someone that, like, I wouldn't want to spend 4 hours a month with this person in a meeting. So they're probably not the right guy. Which might sound a little judgy, but so I think those two elements are critical. The directors, and then how do we identify who these men are around the country that need this? I'd love to be so naive and say, well, they all do, but that's not true. Some do, some don't, or some
Well,
want it and some
yeah.
don't.
And there's definitely probably a criteria for the right fit that you'll discover
Yep,
as you go, but it's a
yep,
lab. I mean, you're
yep.
still discovering too. But the thing I love about what you're saying is this is so organic. And in a world where we're surrounded by just redonkulous, as my husband would say, amounts of AI hype, it's actually really refreshing to hear something that's so human because not everything in our world has to be an algorithm.
I would agree with that. I think, well, I hope, I think, and I hope that the future is going to be amazing. Like I'm going to go with that future because this doom and gloom one just doesn't fit my personality. I think there's going to be some crazy, bumpy, insane twists and turns. And I think what's possible is beyond our wildest and most enthusiastic and optimistic what we can imagine. And as all that takes place, I think the human experience is not going to change. We will need one another. We'll need people. Like, what's just our DNA. We're wired for community and connection. And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be 4 people in your life that are your people. It could be 1. I do think these small groups, for the men who are looking for this, it has proven to be amazingly powerful. And so it has been in my life because I'm part of one and I continue to be, and now creating it for others. So
Love it.
yeah. And the technology is great too.
Yeah. And what a wonderful way to shape the future. Well, we're already to the lightning round. This is kind of a fun thing. So I've got some questions prepared for you, and these are just like short responses. No overthinking. We'll have fun with it. So the first one is kind of a fill in the blank. Long-term relevance requires blank.
Long-term thinking.
In one word, what word best describes what this work has demanded of you personally?
Curiosity.
I can see that. What's a signal or a shift that you believe leaders might be underestimating right now?
Do I have to answer that in one word or can it be a phrase?
As many words as you need.
Okay, great. The undeniable power of human connection.
And this one's fun. Looking back, Brian, what do you wish someone had told you before you started this work?
How challenging it is to describe what it is. Like, as you and I sit and talk about it, you get it, but we've had a half an hour to talk about it. If I sit down with someone and I've got a minute or two to, pique their interest, how do I capture it in a minute or two? I haven't figured that out yet. It's so hard. I don't know what the magic sentences are.
I know you're going to find it.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things. I mean, and so also hard. Like you have been through this before because I saw what you did with Anthem. That was a weird new experience and you were able to convey it. So like you've got the history. I know you can do it, but like, I feel your pain on that one. Because when you're doing something that's breaking new ground, it's never been done before. Like people don't have the words for it. And as the founder though, leaning in, going through that, tough mental exercise, it like takes everything in you. But when you find it, it's awesome.
Hear, 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 hear. Yeah, I will I will rejoice that day for sure.
I'll rejoice with you.
Awesome.
Well, this has been such a fun conversation, Brian, and I'm so excited about the work that you're doing. I mean, thank you for stepping up and tackling this challenge because I just think it's so needed.
Well, I appreciate it's always so good to chat with you. Our reconnection here a couple weeks back was so much fun. I can't wait to dig into the book. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
It's always just so easy when we chat, and it's always fun. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. To our listeners, if you're serious about shaping the future inside your organization, I encourage you to check out my book, Enter the Tomorrow Zone. And if it sparks ideas or reveals gaps worth exploring, reach out to us at tomorrowzone.io. We would welcome connecting with you for conversation. Thanks again for listening. We encourage you to like, subscribe, share if you find value here. As always, stay curious and choose to make awesome happen.